Hey Meadows family and friends, today we're looking at the attribute of God's patience. Our text today was Jonah, the whole book of Jonah. It's 4 fairly short chapters, so I hope you had a chance to take a look at that, to read through that, pray through that, respond to that in your own way, just as you're led by the Spirit. If you're looking at a verse to memorize, I just recommend chapter 4, verse 2. I want to read that because it's in this verse that we get this picture of God's patience. Jonah said that he prayed to the Lord and said, "O Lord, is not this what I said when I was yet in my own country? That is why I made haste to flee to Tarshish, for I knew that you are a gracious God and merciful, slow to anger and abounding in steadfast love and relenting from disaster." Now, those are a bunch of words, but a great definition for patience. So as we think about God's patience, we could think about God being gracious and merciful and slow to anger and abounding in love and relenting from disaster, or from judgment is really what he relents from. And so we looked at this text as we talked about the decree of God, how sometimes we may be tempted to think that God has changed his mind about some things, and yet this redemptive work, this redemptive patience of God is in his character. It's part of his essence, and so it's in keeping with who he is. God is patient. And that's just wonderfully good news for us today. In the Old Testament, most often that word for patience is translated long-suffering, or as it is here, slow to anger. In the New Testament, we see long-suffering again, or patience, or that word literally means slow to boil over. And so it just means that God is very self-controlled. And it's not about time. God's not looking at his watch going, is this going to happen? No, he sees all time at once. That's what we talked about Sunday. God's patience is in relation to people. So we see this attribute of God on display as he engages with Adam and Eve after they've fallen into sin. We see it as he waits so many years, hundreds of years before the flood in Noah's day. We see it with his own people Israel as he sets them free, as he calls them to himself as they wander in the desert. We see his patience over and over and over and over again. And we see his patience as Christ comes as the atoning sacrifice for our sin. And then I just know in my own life that it's taken me a while to just grow in the gospel and grow in my relationship with Christ. I know that so many times as I look at my own shortcomings, I'm just thankful for the patience of God, that he is gracious and merciful and slow to anger and abounding in love, and that he relents from judgment. That is our God today. And I hope that that's comforting to you as you think about your own life, as you think about other people who you love who maybe haven't come to Christ yet. Just knowing that God is patiently trying to draw them to himself, that God is patiently working in your life by his Spirit. And then as we respond to the Spirit more and more, as we walk with the Spirit more and more, as the Spirit has more and more of an impact in our lives as we yield to him, then here's the challenge. We get to reflect God's patience through the fruit of the Spirit. Well, I hope that today's thoughts have been encouraging to you, comforting to you, and even challenging to you as you think about how you respond to other people walking by the Spirit in patience. Our God is patient. He loves you. Be encouraged today. God bless you.